welcome to our deep dive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, into a topic that you might not expect to be so,
Okay.
well, explosive.
All right.
Yeah, we're talking about New Year's Eve,
Uh-huh.
but not the champagne toasts or the resolutions.
Right.
Today, we're taking a closer look at the environmental and health impacts of those dazzling fireworks and booming sound bombs
Okay.
that often mark the occasion.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by some of the hidden costs associated with these seemingly festive traditions.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the moment, but
right.
it's important to understand that those few minutes of brilliant light and sound have consequences that extend far beyond the stroke of midnight.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we're drawing insights from an episode of the Planet Pulse podcast,
Okay.
which really got me thinking about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
They talked about how air pollution levels can spike by a staggering 30 to 50% in cities around the world
Wow.
during major celebrations like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Imagine the equivalent of adding millions of extra cars to the roads in just one night.
Yeah.
That's the kind of impact we're talking about.
It's a stark reminder that while these celebrations hold cultural significance for many, they also leave behind a substantial environmental footprint.
Right.
And it all comes down to the chemical makeup of fireworks and sound bombs.
Okay, so let's break down what's actually in these pyrotechnics.
Sure.
Planet Pulse described it as a sort of chemical cocktail.
Right.
I know they mentioned heavy metals, but could you elaborate on that a bit?
Of course.
Yeah.
So those vibrant colors that burst across the sky,
Yeah.
they're created by heavy metals like strontium, barium, and aluminum.
Uh-huh.
While visually stunning, these elements can have a lasting impact on the environment.
Right.
For instance, barium can accumulate in the soil,
Yeah.
making it harder for plants to absorb essential nutrients and thrive.
Wow.
It's like adding a contaminant to the very foundation of our ecosystems.
That's concerning. It's amazing to think about the intricate chain reactions that something as seemingly fleeting as a firework can trigger.
Yeah.
Planet Pulse also mentioned perchlorates.
Yes.
What are those, and what kind of effects do they have?
Perchlorates are essential for creating that explosive effect in fireworks.
Really?
The problem is they're highly soluble in water.
Right.
This means they easily contaminate our lakes, rivers, and even groundwater.
Yeah.
Now imagine the impact on aquatic life.
Right.
Fish, amphibians, and other aquatic organisms rely on clean water to survive.
Right.
When perchlorates enter their ecosystems, it disrupts the delicate balance of their habitats,
Wow.
potentially leading to long-term ecological consequences.
It's unsettling to realize that something we associate with celebration can have such a detrimental impact on the natural world.
Yeah.
It makes me think about those public service announcements that urge people to properly dispose of their medications to avoid contaminating water sources.
Right.
It seems like the debris from fireworks could pose a similar problem.
You're absolutely right. The debris from fireworks often contains a mix of chemicals and heavy metals that can leach into the soil and waterways,
Right.
further contributing to pollution.
And then there's the carbon footprint of these celebrations.
Yes,
It takes a lot of energy to manufacture and transport these pyrotechnics, right?
you're spot on. The global carbon footprint of fireworks is estimated to be equivalent to the annual emissions of 5 million cars.
Wow.
It's like having a city full of cars constantly running for a whole year, just for a few minutes of fireworks displays around the globe.
5 million cars.
Yeah,
That's really hard to wrap my head around.
it's a massive amount.
It's a massive amount of greenhouse gases being released for such a short-lived spectacle.
It is, and it highlights the importance of thinking about the bigger picture when it comes to our celebrations.
Right.
Even seemingly small traditions can have a substantial impact on the environment.
Okay, so we've covered the pollutants released by fireworks and sound bombs.
Yeah.
Now let's zoom in on how these pollutants specifically affect the environment. We've talked about the impact on water, but what about the air?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is particulate matter,
Okay.
often referred to as PM 2.5 and PM 10.
Yeah.
These are tiny particles released during firework explosions, and they can be extremely harmful to human health.
I've heard those terms before, especially in relation to air quality reports.
Right?
But can you explain what they mean and why they're so dangerous?
Absolutely. Imagine a speck of dust, so tiny, it's invisible to the naked eye.
Okay.
That's essentially what particulate matter is.
Got it.
The numbers PM 2.5 and PM 10 refer to their size,
Okay.
2.5, 10 micrometers respectively.
Mm-hmm.
The smaller the particle, the deeper it can penetrate into our respiratory system.
Right.
PM 2.5 in particular is so small it can bypass our body's natural defenses
Oh, wow.
and lodge deep in our lungs,
Yeah,
leading to all sorts of respiratory problems.
that's a bit frightening.
It's not just about the smoke and haze we see in the air after a fireworks display.
Right.
It's about these invisible particles that we're inhaling.
Yeah, and the impact is not just immediate.
Exactly.
Studies have shown that PM 2.5 levels can surge 5 to 10 times above normal
Right.
immediately after large firework events.
Yeah.
And it can take up to 48 hours for those levels to return to normal.
Wow.
Imagine living in a city with already compromised air quality and then experiencing this sudden surge in harmful particles.
Yeah.
It's a serious public health concern.
It is.
So for people with pre-existing respiratory conditions like asthma or COPD,
Right.
this could be a real trigger, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For individuals with sensitive respiratory systems, even short-term exposure to elevated levels of particulate matter
Right.
can lead to breathing difficulties,
Yeah.
aggravated asthma symptoms,
Uh-huh.
and even hospitalizations.
Right.
It's a reminder that our celebrations can have unintended consequences for vulnerable populations.
It's sobering to think about the invisible ways our actions can affect the health of others, especially during a time that's supposed to be about celebration and joy.
It's a reminder that environmental health is intrinsically linked to human health.
Right.
And it underscores the importance of considering the broader impact of our choices,
Yeah.
even when it comes to seemingly harmless traditions.
Okay, we've talked about air quality, but what about noise pollution?
Right.
Those sound bombs are incredibly loud,
Yeah.
and I've always wondered about the impact on both people and animals.
You're right to be concerned. Sound bombs can generate noise levels exceeding 150 decibels.
Wow.
To put that in perspective, that's louder than a jet engine taking off.
That's intense. I know prolonged exposure to loud noises can damage hearing,
Right.
but what are the other potential effects?
Well, aside from the obvious risk of hearing loss,
Right.
noise pollution can cause stress, anxiety, and sleep disturbances in humans.
Wow.
It can also disrupt wildlife, especially in urban areas where the sound reverberates off buildings,
Yeah.
amplifying the noise. Imagine birds being startled from their nests or animals fleeing their habitats
Yeah.
due to these sudden jarring blasts.
It's easy to overlook noise as a form of pollution, but it seems like it can have far-reaching effects on both human and animal well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's often called the invisible pollutant because we can't see it,
Right.
but its effects are very real and can be quite damaging.
And speaking of vulnerable populations, I imagine individuals with sensory sensitivities, like those with autism or PTSD,
Right.
could be particularly affected by the intense noise and vibrations from fireworks and sound bombs.
You're absolutely right.
Uh-huh.
For these individuals, the experience of a fireworks display can be extremely overwhelming and distressing.
Right.
The loud bangs and bright flashes can trigger sensory overload,
Yeah.
leading to anxiety,
Mhm.
panic attacks,
Yeah.
and even physical discomfort.
Yeah.
It's a reminder to be mindful and considerate of the diverse ways people experience the world around them.
It's a good point. What might be a joyous celebration for some can be a source of real anxiety and discomfort for others.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about our furry friends.
Right.
How do fireworks and sound bombs affect animals?
Sadly, the impact on animals can be significant.
Right.
Their senses are much more acute than ours.
Yeah.
So those loud bangs and bright flashes are terrifying for many animals.
Yeah.
Especially pets.
I've heard countless stories about pets running away during fireworks displays.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking to think about the fear and disorientation they must experience.
It's a common problem. Many dogs and cats experience extreme anxiety and fear during fireworks displays.
Right.
They might try to escape, leading to lost pets.
Yeah.
Or they can injure themselves in their panic. Shelters often report a 30% increase in lost pets after celebrations like New Year's Eve.
That's a startling statistic. It makes you realize that the impact of fireworks extends far beyond what we might initially imagine.
Yeah.
It's not just about the immediate noise and visual spectacle. It's about the ripple effects on the well-being of animals.
Absolutely.
And even the stress it causes pet owners.
Exactly. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences that extend far beyond ourselves. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness with all living beings.
Right.
And making choices that minimize harm and promote well-being for everyone.
Okay, so we've explored the downsides of traditional New Year celebrations,
Yeah.
but we've also highlighted some individual actions we can take to make a difference.
Okay.
In the next part of our deep dive, let's shift gears and talk about some of the solutions and future trends that are emerging.
Okay.
Are there ways to celebrate the new year without wreaking havoc on our planet and ourselves? Stay tuned to find out.
Sounds good.
All right, see you next time.
See ya.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the hidden costs of New Year celebrations.
Yeah.
We've uncovered some pretty startling facts about the environmental and health impacts of fireworks and sound bombs. But it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
Let's shift gears now and explore some of the exciting solutions and trends that are emerging.
That's right. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of the problem.
Yeah.
But there's a growing movement towards more sustainable and responsible celebrations.
Right.
And it's not just about giving up on the spectacle altogether.
Right.
It's about finding creative alternatives that capture the magic of the occasion without the harmful side effects.
Okay, so let's talk about those alternatives.
Sure.
What are some ways we can celebrate the new year without relying on fireworks and sound bombs?
Okay.
I've heard about drone shows. Are those a viable option?
Absolutely. Drone shows are becoming increasingly popular as a dazzling and eco-friendly alternative to fireworks.
Okay.
Imagine hundreds or even thousands of synchronized drones illuminating the night sky.
Yeah.
With intricate patterns and formations.
Wow.
It's a breathtaking spectacle that rivals the visual impact of fireworks,
Yeah.
but without the noise pollution, harmful chemicals, and debris.
I've seen videos of drone shows online, and they're pretty mesmerizing.
Right.
But are they truly eco-friendly?
Okay.
I'm thinking about the resources needed to manufacture and operate all those drones.
That's a great question. While drone shows aren't completely impact-free, they have a significantly smaller footprint than fireworks.
Okay.
The main energy consumption comes from charging the drone batteries,
Right.
but the drones themselves are reusable,
Okay.
which reduces waste.
Right.
And of course, there's no combustion involved.
Yeah.
So we eliminate the release of harmful pollutants into the air and water.
That's a huge plus.
Yeah.
It seems like drone shows tick a lot of boxes in terms of both visual appeal
Right.
and environmental responsibility.
Absolutely.
Are there any other alternatives gaining traction?
Another fantastic option is laser light shows.
Okay.
They've become quite popular in some European cities where communities have been seeking ways to reduce noise and air pollution.
Yeah.
Laser shows use high-powered lasers to create stunning visual displays,
Wow.
projecting vibrant beams of light onto buildings, landmarks, or even water screens.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's like a giant outdoor light show.
Right.
And it sounds incredibly captivating.
It is.
But what about the energy consumption? Aren't lasers pretty energy intensive?
They can be, but advancements in laser technology have made them more energy efficient in recent years.
Right.
And when you compare the overall environmental impact of a laser show
Yeah.
to a traditional fireworks display,
Right.
the difference is still quite significant.
Right.
Remember, with fireworks, you're dealing with explosions,
Yeah.
combustion, and the release of all those harmful chemicals.
Right.
With lasers, it's primarily about electricity consumption for the light projectors.
That makes sense. It seems like we're seeing a real shift in how communities are approaching celebrations. Are there any cities or regions that are leading the charge when it comes to embracing these eco-friendly alternatives?
Absolutely. Hawaii is a great example.
Okay.
They've actually banned consumer fireworks altogether
Wow.
to protect their fragile ecosystems.
Good for them.
They've recognized that the environmental cost of fireworks is simply too high,
Yeah.
and they've taken decisive action to prioritize the health of their islands.
That's impressive. It shows a real commitment to sustainability.
Right.
Are there any other examples of cities or communities making similar changes?
There are several. Many cities across Europe are transitioning away from fireworks
Okay.
and embracing alternative celebration. For example, some cities in Switzerland and Germany have replaced fireworks with stunning multimedia shows that combine lights, music, and projections.
Nice.
It's about creating a multi-sensory experience
Right.
that's both entertaining and environmentally responsible.
Those are inspiring examples. It shows that change is possible and that communities are willing to adapt their traditions to prioritize the well-being of the environment and their residents.
Right.
It's not just about governments enacting policies. It's about a collective shift in mindset.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our choices have consequences.
Right.
And that we can create a better future
Right.
by embracing more sustainable practices.
Right. And it's not just about big sweeping changes. It starts with individual actions as well. So what can we do as individuals to celebrate the new year in a more responsible way?
Okay.
What are some practical steps we can take?
Well, one of the easiest things we can do is choose to support eco-friendly celebrations.
Okay.
If you're looking for a New Year's Eve event, Consider attending a gathering that features a drone show, a laser light display, or a community concert.
Right.
There are so many creative and enjoyable ways to celebrate without contributing to environmental harm.
That's a great idea. It's about voting with our feet, so to speak, and supporting businesses and events that align with our values.
Yep.
Are there any other actions we can take to spread the word and encourage change?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful things we can do is educate others
Okay.
about the hidden costs of fireworks and sound bombs.
Right.
Share the information you've learned in this deep dive with your friends, family, and colleagues.
Right.
The more people understand the consequences of these traditions, the more likely they are to make informed choices.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And sometimes simply starting a conversation can make a bigger difference than we realize. It's about planting seeds of awareness.
Right.
And encouraging people to think critically about their own choices.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your voice when it comes to advocating for change.
Right.
You can contact your local representatives and urge them to support policies that restrict the use of fireworks and promote eco-friendly alternatives.
It's easy to feel like one person can't make a difference.
Yeah.
But collective action starts with individual voices.
Right.
When enough people speak up, it can lead to real change at the community and even national levels.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Every small step we take adds up and contributes to a larger movement towards sustainability.
Absolutely.
Remember, celebrating responsibly doesn't mean sacrificing fun or tradition.
Right.
It's about finding that balance between enjoying the moment and ensuring a healthier, brighter future for all.
It's about recognizing that true celebration is about joy, connection, and creating positive memories, not about causing harm to our communities or the planet.
Exactly. It's about embracing the spirit of the occasion while making choices that reflect our values and our commitment to a sustainable future.
Okay, so we've explored some promising alternatives to traditional New Year's celebrations and discussed the power of individual action.
Right.
But what about the deeper implications of these choices?
Yeah.
How do we navigate the balance between tradition, personal enjoyment, and responsibility for the world around us? Let's delve into that in the final part of our deep dive. We're back for the final part of our deep dive into the hidden costs of New Year's celebrations.
Yeah.
We've uncovered some hard truths about the environmental and health impacts of traditional fireworks and sound bombs.
Right.
But we've also explored some really inspiring alternatives and ways we can celebrate more responsibly.
Yeah. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has.
We've gone from the dazzling spectacle of fireworks to the microscopic world of particulate matter.
Yeah.
And we've seen how our choices, even those made in the spirit of celebration, can have ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves.
It's definitely a lot to process.
It is.
But I think one of the biggest takeaways for me has been the realization that we don't have to choose between celebration and responsibility.
Yeah.
There are ways to honor tradition and enjoy the magic of the occasion while minimizing our impact on the planet and each other.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is that this conversation goes beyond just individual actions. We've talked about choosing eco-friendly events and advocating for policy changes. But it also begs the question, how can we as communities reimagine what celebration can be?
I love that question.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get stuck in the mindset that celebration equals fireworks and big boisterous events. But what if we shifted our focus to something more sustainable and meaningful?
Imagine a neighborhood organizing a collaborative art project to ring in the new year, where everyone contributes their creativity and talents to create something beautiful and lasting.
I love that.
Or a town hosting a massive potluck with locally sourced food.
Right.
Where people come together to share a meal and connect with their neighbors.
Those are fantastic examples. It shifts the focus from consumption and spectacle to connection and shared experiences.
Yeah.
And those are things that truly resonate with people, regardless of the occasion.
Yeah.
It's about creating memories that nourish the soul, not just the senses.
Precisely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, maybe those values, connection, community, hope for the future, are better served by actions that sustain our planet and communities rather than deplete them. It's about aligning our celebrations with our deepest values.
And that brings us to the question we want to leave you with.
Okay.
As you head into this New Year's Eve, knowing what we now know about the impact of our choices, how will you celebrate differently?
Good question.
How will you find that balance between the joy of the occasion and responsibility for the world around us.
It's a tough one.
It is, but it's an important one.
Absolutely. And it's not about guilt or deprivation.
Right.
It's about empowerment.
That.
You have the power to create change.
Yeah.
One celebration at a time.
Mm-hmm.
By making conscious choices, you can be part of a movement towards a brighter, more sustainable future for all.
That's a powerful message to end on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was great to have you.
Likewise.
Here's to a brighter, more responsible future for all.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.